Hey everybody, Old Man Alchemist back with another adventure in our Dune Awakening saga, but this time it's from the developers of the game. I just read this. It came out about 3 hours ago, so there's a roadmap and some of their future plans. Basically, they're saying they know people have been chomping at the bit to hear more information, and they apologize for the lack of communication. Um, a lot of the staff is on vacation. And so customer service has not always had access to developers to answer their questions. They've been playing whack a mole with bugs, cheats, and exploits during July months of summer, and they've banned a lot of people. They said thousands and fixed a bunch of duplication and exploit bugs and continue to work on stability. And they're working to achieve a certain cadence in their patches and making things a little more consistent. Live game development, they're saying, is a blend of reactivity and long term planning. So this week, they're going to be at Gamescom and they're going to be talking about Chapter 2, the free update, and the Lost Harvest DLC. And that's going to be their first major addition to the game, which they'll be releasing in parallel, those two things. So um, it says some of you will note that while Chapter 2 and the DLC add new content and cosmetics to the game, they are not focused on the end game, and that's because Chapter 2 and the DLC were planned and began development before launch. So they asked to take a look at the roadmap below, and you'll be able to see that there's a bunch of free updates and DLCs planned for the near future, and also a look at their monthly development cycle. So, um, chapter 2, they're saying main story. I really hope. Guys, where's the third faction? I have not joined a faction because I don't like Atreides. I don't like Harkonnen. So, give me my third chapter. Dang it. Character recustomization, dynamic encounters, social hub contracts. That sounds nice. New deep desert layouts. We'll see what happens with that. New archetype armors and new hairstyles and tattoos. And the DLC is going to have some new vehicles, new contract chain with unique locations, new building pieces and decorations, new armor and weapon skins, new swatch and emotes. Chapter 3, which they don't say when it's going to be, but I guess sometime later this year, because this is 2026 over here. It's going to be revamped in game and more, and Chapter 4 is going to be revealed. The DLC in January, well, I guess this is going to be January. Excuse me, they do say. January through March, they're saying 2026. Okay. Is going to be revamped in game and more and to be revealed, and then further out past this time next year, they're going to have more to do. But in January, March 2026, it looks like cosmetics. The broken lands are shattered plains of broken rock, known for their fearsome raiders. Okay, that's interesting. Water is life. The water shipper families are at war, fighting for control of the polar caps of Arrakis. That sounds interesting too. So it says, give me a sec. I need to get a drink of water. My throat is going dry. Yeah, we don't edit in this place. We just do it raw, live. That's the way it is, guys. So now it says we will share more about the major content and features coming in Chapter 2 in the DLC soon. But in terms of quality of life improvements, we're adding the ability to rename vehicles, storage containers, and other placeables. Thank you, thank you, thank you. More reliable ornithopter rockets for combat enthusiasts. I have never done that and probably don't intend to, but we'll find out. And the highly requested option to swap seats in a vehicle with a hotkey. Okay. All of these features will be available for testing on the public test client soon. So let's talk about the end game. During the summer, we've made changes and tweaks to the formula of the deep desert with varying degrees of success. We have attracted very different demographics to the game, and they are asking for very different things. Just do it the way you did in Conan: PvP servers, PvE servers. Make it a certain time on a certain day when PvP bases can be rated server wide, or a couple of days, whatever. But you guys know how to do that. This is not rocket science. Um, we've identified several core issues: loss of items, vehicles, players feeling like they're forced into PvP, exploits and cheats, and lack of end-game content grind. There are things that we can do in the short term to address some of these, and things that will take us longer to improve. So in the short term, what they're saying is they're going to make some changes. Improve player logging. That sounds interesting. One of the key frustrations we see is the lack of information and clarity around why certain items, objects, vehicles are gone. We will increase the information in your logs so that you have a better idea of what is going on. For example, listing the names of people who take things from chest in your base. Finally, I mean, come on, man. Who the hell created such a toxic environment that if you form a guild, you have no way of knowing who takes what, um, even though you can design circuits and you can place restrictions on who can enter into a chest. Um, if you give even an associate access to a crafting machine, they can switch up the circuits, find where good stuff is, and use it, even though they don't have access to the chest because they have access to the machine. That's just plain stupid, and that's why all the big bases are shut down and everybody has their own personal base. I mean, come on. Um, vehicle salvaging system. We're working on vehicle salvaging system that will allow you to recover lost vehicles. Okay. Cobalt paste vehicle inventory. We're adjusting the volume of the infamous cobalt paste. They're adding more slots to the assault ornithopter. Finally, yes, yes. And we will be adding a cargo container that can be carried by the carrier ornithopter. Wow, maybe now I'm going to keep this big ass base that I have instead of, in the last episode, I was talking about maybe shrinking it down. Um, okay, instanced deep desert loot. Yes, yes. I mean, who the hell wants to go in someplace, fight, barely survive, have to fight other players and waves of NPCs only to get jack squat? That don't compute. So the constant camping and queuing of the deep desert testing stations leads to a frustrating experience where people arrive at an empty testing station. We're going to change these to be more in line with the rest of the game. Thank you, Lord. Someone has heard the prayers of the faithful out in the desert. But remember, the weight of a kindly God is a terrible thing. Be Lakifa. Offline notifications about important events. We understand that not everybody can or wants to log in to check power taxes constantly in the game. We would like to create a notification service that sends you the status of your base via email. This one is squarely aimed at you, Ben. Okay. Um, yeah, there was some Reddit thing that said something along the lines of, Ben, if you read this, your power's out or your base power's out, or it became a meme. Blah, 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 whatever. Okay. These are in addition to the current slate of UI UX improvements, continued crackdown on exploit cheaters, and stability improvements. Now let's talk about longer term planning and what we have in store for Endgame. Okay, let's see. As we've mentioned previously, the Landsrat is supposed to be the endgame activity driver. Currently, it does not have the breadth or depth of content or progression to serve that function. As we work towards Chapter 3, we will begin to tie the faction progression of the game to the Landsrad, while also systematically building out the Landsrad with a great variety of activities across the world. As a player, this means that you can increase your faction rank by completing Landsrad tasks, checking in with your Duke or Baron occasionally to perform special missions, or visit faction vendors. Hey guys, where's the third faction? Come on, where's the third faction? Some of us don't want to be Atreides or Harkonnen. Give me some love. Okay, Landsrad activities will become contract based. That sounds kind of cool. Rather than delivery based, which will allow us to effectively remove the issue of stockpiling that is currently endemic in the game. Had to get some water again. Like I said, we don't edit. This ensures that people are rewarded for solo play as well as making contributions easier for them to track and will give you many choices in how you progress over time. Okay, that sounds, well, we'll see how it's implemented. It sounds reasonable. It sounds okay. As for the planned activities, we have plenty in mind in addition to the current testing stations and shipwrecks. The following list contains examples and not promises, as these will take work and time to deliver. But currently, we are thinking of things like assassinations. That's nice. Treasure maps. Cool. Races, hey, my coordination ain't great, but construction challenges, ain't nobody giving any building I build any word, but duels. Okay, now I can, because my buddy is always talking mess and saying I can't hit him when I shoot at him. I'd like to be able to do a duel with him. Faction versus faction maps. That's something that they should have had from the beginning. Improved control points, scavenger hunts, yeah. Temporary crafting challenges. I'm down with that. That list sounds really good. These activities will make use of the overland map, spawning in new maps as required. Thank God. We have always wanted to flesh out the overland map over time, and this will boost that along. Of course, we are open to your suggestions, so please share with us on social media the kinds of activities you would like to see in the Landsrad. As the Landsrad activities become more fleshed out, we will then transition the deep desert back towards the original intention. A sandbox area where players can compete for control of the spice. So they're still going for the PvP. Dude, okay, listen. I understand, but you're going to have some roles where people um, can have. I don't want to do PvP, and I shouldn't have to do PvP to get spice. Um, or either just, make Haga base and have small and medium blows or something like that, because you're screwing up again. I don't like that, but just do PvP, PvE service for God's sakes. Um, we will continue to iterate on the deep desert, adding no-fly zones to enforce ground combat. That sounds good. Adding more layouts with variety and challenge, and ensuring that there is clear progression. In addition, we are experimenting with the tech behind the deep desert, and if things go well, you will experience the deep desert in a much more stable environment. A lot of this will become our focus in the latter half of 2025. We hope to make significant changes that will satisfy and thrill you. Hopefully, you agree when we say that we have a great foundation for the end game, which we can build on moving forward. Thank you. Well, that sounds good. Let's see what happens. Um, it sounds like they're still trying. It's like they've got this. They're like a monkey with their hand in a gourd because they went to get some food with this PvP thing in a deep desert. Dude, the majority of people who play Steam games want PvE. I saw some, I think it was Game Rant or something like that that was showing that, or some chart, but I think it's in the Steam database, for God's sakes. Stop trying to say you got to do PvP. Okay? Just do a PvE PvP server and leave it at that. And stop this trying to you're not doing theurgy, you're doing thaumaturgy. You're trying to force something, you're trying to make something, and it's becoming unnatural. Don't do that. But everything else, the majority of it sounded great. I love it. Just, you know, the end game, it just should not be forced PvP. But let's see what they do with the rest of the stuff. Maybe they're going to do the Landsrad so well, and you'll have a way to be able to get spice in other areas of the overland map that don't necessarily involve PvP, and they're going to make the deep desert itself just the PvP part of the server. That would be okay. Give me other areas that I can go to on the overland map where I can get spice, where I can get at least the stuff that I need to make the armor, the plating, the ballistic weave, that kind of stuff. And, you know, okay. And, then if you have the PvP area of the deep desert with just some kind of shit that, I don't know, okay, that's what the PvPers are going to. But the only place you're going to be able to use that is in the deep desert anyway. So, if you're willing to go there and get that stuff, then that you're willing to fight for that, okay, fine. But make it so the rest of us can. I didn't pay $80, so I had to be forced into PvP. I just didn't. I love the game. I've got over almost 300 hours in it, and I still haven't been to the deep desert. I'm just now this week clearing all of Haga Basin so I can go to the deep desert, get the stuff that I need to make tier 6 stuff so I can do the final quest chain, the final part of the story, story part 2, I guess, or whatever it is. The final part of this story that they had in the opening. So Funcom, looking forward. Maybe I wrote your obituary a little too soon. We'll keep you on life support. There's one of the doctors is saying they saw brain activity. So we're going to see. We're going to keep it going. And we'll see what January, March. I've got enough money to pay taxes for a few years in the bank right now. And all I need to do is when I tear down the shoal base is keep the big base fueled. So we'll see. We will see. But anyway, guys, thanks for hanging with me. If you do me a favor, we're trying to get to 100 subscribers. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like the video, and to all of those people who have done so already, a deep, heartfelt thanks for your help in growing the channel. Everybody, stay cool.